Hey y'all. So let me introduce you to what's about to happen. I just received an abundance of comments, inquiries. I know I messed it up, y'all. I get tongue-tied. Inquiries, comments, questions, compliments, all of that. Okay, I'm not editing anything out of this video. I just got all of that. And when I tell you that today, July the 9th, has been an abundance of overflow. It has been an abundance of overflow. So I want to share some things with you. Stay tuned. I'm sorry, but the video is going to be lengthy, but it's going to be good. I was just going to do this on Facebook Live in my group, but I'm aware that sometimes the internet connection kicks out. So I wanted to be able to do this so you can come back to it if you need to listen to it later, listen to it twice. I don't know, it might be archived for you, but I wanted to just really tell a piece of my story. I'm going to start telling a piece of my story. And so I'm going to talk about manifestations because I was going to speak about it an hour ago and somebody, just a total stranger, just asked me about it. But yeah, it's just crazy how God works. So stay tuned. I'm going to tell you my story about my journey career-wise. That's going to tie into pieces in my walk with God. All of it works together. Like, stay tuned. This is the finished product. My hands weren't that bad. Like, I barely had to clip a half inch off, so that's good. That means she been taking care of her hair. She been taking care of her. I'm tripping. I'm sleepy. Where Daddy? Alright. Okay, y'all. Get some water. First of all, it's hot in here. I'm going to try to tell you as much as I can tell you in 10 minutes or less. That's my goal. Because I want to be mindful of your time and mine. So I'm going to try to get as much out. 10 minutes or less. Here we go. So I moved to Dallas, Texas 5 years ago. 4 years ago. 4 years ago I moved to Dallas, Texas. 3 days before I moved, my in-home salon got flooded. And at the time it happened, I was stressing and I was asking God, like, well, what am I gonna do? All these things was going on. So I was doing hair, I was a stylist, and then I was also working at a bank, kind of at the time. And okay, I have no clue who that is, sorry. So I was working at the bank, just left the bank, decided to move to Texas, taking a faith move, and, you know, starting over in a new city. I was, what, 24? Yeah, 24, had a 3-year-old at the time, and it was just something totally new, a totally new experience. So I was taking this faith walk. Why? Number one, because I had said a couple years earlier, like when my son was born, I told my husband, my now husband, my then boyfriend, I was like, babe, you know, once the baby gets around close to school age, I want to move to Texas. I said that at 21. So when it came time for my baby approaching, starting preschool, I knew I wanted to go to Texas, period, point blank. I have to do what I say I'm going to do. And so that comes to one of these things that, and this wasn't even planned for me. I'm just really flowing off the dome, no notes or anything, just having a conversation with you all. And that's one of the things about manifestations. Sometimes we can manifest things that we have no idea that we're manifesting. And it's great when it's something positive, but it can be detrimental, okay? Words have power. I'm teaching my 8-year-old son this, like little things that he says, and I just remind him, like, son, words have what? Words have power. And so if you don't know that now, or you really don't believe it, like, believe it. I want you to believe it. And I know, y'all, I've been on the other side of this camera. I've been the person just searching and, you know, watching things happen for other people and just thinking, you know, to myself, when is my time going to come? I know some of you think those thoughts. I know that some of you are thinking like, well, you know, that's them, or you think that somebody had a different circumstance that's so much different than yours, that you just have so much more strife, you know, and so many more burdens and barriers. But that's not true, y'all. We all have storms. We all have trials and tribulations. We all have roadblocks. We all have weaknesses. We all have sin. Like, we all have that. We just perceive each other's differently. We just perceive it differently, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. A person in a relationship on paper or married and not happy doesn't get any more, you know, praise for being married, and they're in a unhealthy relationship. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, this is so off subject, but y'all stop thinking that singleness is like a disease, or like it's something you're trying to break out of. You can desire to be in a relationship, but you got to start knowing how to really love on you and be, I'm hot, y'all. You got to really start, you know, to love on yourself and know your self-worth before you try to connect yourself with anybody. Like, love on you, date yourself, get to know you, know what you like, what you don't like, what you're willing to accept, what you're not going to accept. Like, do all of that first before you just, you know, don't covet. Don't think that, you know, you just want something that somebody that you know that they have because it looks good. And sometimes, honestly, it might be good. It might really be that. Excuse me. However, sometimes you don't know what a person went through to get to where they are, you know, so just be mindful of that. Like, your time will come, but manifestation, you want to manifest positive things. So even if that's a relationship, you have to be very specific on the things that you say out your mouth. So, you want a man or you want a woman, if this is a, you know, guys are watching, like, what does that man look like for you? Like, what does he do? Where does he work? Is he a family man? Does he have children? Is he a church guy? Is he a hood nigga? All those things matter. You really have to, like, form this person in your mind. And because likeness attracts likeness, so thoughts become things. So what you think about will start to manifest. I'm trying to get this camera together. But what you think about will begin to manifest. So manifestations. Back to the trip to Dallas. So I spoke this thing some years before and said, hey, when this day comes, this is what we doing. I don't like that. When this day comes, this is what we doing. That's exactly what I said. And so the day came, I packed up my car and I left. Period, point blank. At the time I left, my boyfriend stayed behind. He was like, you finna go for real? I'm like, yeah. Like, I love you dearly. When you ready, I'll be there. But we're about to go. And that's just what it was. And it was like, I had to do what I had to do. And it was a journey that was needed. And like, I don't want this video to be too long. I'll talk about that separately. But it was a journey that had to happen on my own. No love lost. Like, I'm happily married now to this man. I love him dearly. And I didn't love him any less when I decided to leave. I decided to leave. And it was just so much bigger than him. And it was, number one, I had to be obedient to my spirit. I had to be obedient to God, and do what I know I was unctioned to do. Because it didn't all make sense to me either when I decided to do that. So boom, I did that. Manifestations. At the time, I didn't even really realize that's what it was. So my house flooded and I lost my whole entire salon. However, I was stressing that whole week trying to figure out, how am I going to get all of this stuff to Texas? Like, I got a whole house. Like, I got furniture, appliances. I have a car. I had 2 cars at the time. I had a car that was paid for, and then I had a car that I was paying a note on. So I had 2 vehicles. I had a home. I had a man, had a baby, and I'm like, I can't take everything. Like, everything is not going to fit in this Kia. So what did I do? I packed whatever I could. I did what was necessary first. So I packed the necessary things. I packed up my car, made sure I had important documents, sent my baby the day before, and I drove to Texas, fasted by myself, alone, quiet, no music, 15 and a half hours. You talking about getting to know yourself and talking to God. Take a long road trip with no music. And I didn't even realize it. Like, people were like, girl, I could not have driven all them hours with no music. This was a different type of trip though. Like, this was a on purpose journey. Like, I didn't have time for any distractions. I didn't have time for, you know, sometimes like you listening to a certain station and then out of nowhere something just totally unexpected like pop on. That happens to me on my that happens to me on Spotify. Like, somehow my ratchet workout song got mixed up in the worship track and it just went all crazy. Morning worship turned into some ratchetness. Like, that's, you know, I didn't need that to happen. So I took this journey alone, and I took it in peace and quiet, and it was like one of the best, it was the best journeys I had. I drove all the way through, didn't need to stop. I stopped twice for gas. Do y'all hear me? I left Chicago at 2 o'clock in the morning. I stopped for gas in Joplin or Jefferson, one of those. I stopped for gas in Missouri, and I didn't stop for gas again until I reached Arlington, Texas, 12 miles away from my destination. Come on, y'all. Manifestations. Like, it was so many things that I said that had to come into fruition. Number one, because I desired it, and then the next reason is because I did the work to get there. So if I never, you know, what if I would have stayed? I don't want to know what those consequences are, because there are consequences. When you disobey your spirit, don't even gotta get deep. When you disobey your spirit, there are consequences. Simple. When you say, like, man, I want to feel better, I want to work out. Man, I want to feel better, I want to work out. And you just eat pizza and Flamin' Hots and pop and cookies and don't work out, there are consequences for that. You gain weight, you don't feel good, you don't feel your best in your clothes, all of that. When you say, you know, when you say positive things, you're drawn to those things. My point is, I want y'all to understand that thoughts become things. You can be that person. You can manifest whatever it is that you want to manifest. Just make sure that you're praying and that you ask God to show you, you know, to show you his way, and say, you know, just pray a simple prayer. You don't even have to be, you know, super deep or super, you know, super duper spiritual or religious. Just simply ask God, show me your way. Show me the plans that you have for my life, and show me your way and show me your will, and let your will be done. Simple as that. Show me. And things, you have to be in tune though. Why I took that trip in silence? Because I had to be in tune. Like, I was on a quest. I was searching for answers from God. And if I had the radio on, I couldn't hear him. Because I knew he was going to speak to me on that trip, and he did. And I couldn't take a chance on being distracted and not clearly hearing from him while I was on this journey. Like, it was just that deep, y'all. And I promise, like, on my Facebook page, eventually I'm gonna get more into it on my new group page, you know, just telling my story, because it's just so many layers. It's so many layers. I still missed a whole another 15 years of stories before I got to that point, but it's so many layers. And I'm just sitting here thinking about people that I loved, friends and family members, but definitely friends, you know, people between the ages of 15 to 35, and how much we, you know, poured into each other. And some of them are no longer here, rest their souls peacefully, but I think of them daily. And because of those people that I love, and, you know, they ended their journey earlier than we expected them to, I don't complain. And I'm grateful that I'm still here, and I'm grateful that I'm able to, you know, make some sort of a difference, and I'm grateful to do the things that I do. But it's not easy. And I know sometimes, you know, people get caught up on social media. Social media only shows you a highlight. It's like a highlight tape. If anybody know anything about sports, you get like that 60 second, 2-minute highlight tape. They don't show you the missed shots. Do you think they show you all the missed dunks that they did in the highlight tape? No, boy. Like, no. You only get the highlights, and you gotta understand that. And so I just want to be transparent to help somebody. I want to show you those highlights, but I want to take you through the journey of those low moments that, you know, that got me there on my way. And so, fast forward, I'm gonna talk to y'all about that story. If you have any particular questions or something like that, boom, I'll be happy to answer them, whatever. So today, let me tell you about manifestation. I manifested a lot. so a piece of that too, when I left back in 2014, I remember washing dishes, being by myself in the kitchen. And this happens too. I wind up having experiences with the Lord by myself in the kitchen, washing dishes. It's always when I'm cleaning in the kitchen. It's other places too, but a lot of experiences I've had while I was cleaning in the kitchen, doing dishes alone in different states. But anywho, I'm having this experience, and I'm just, really just in tune with myself and just figuring out, life and having thoughts. And I said to myself, I was just thinking, like, what am I going to do career-wise? Like, do I really want to do this? And how do I want to do this? And how am I going to do this in a new state? And I don't know anybody, and I don't have any clients, and just all of this stuff. And the Spirit spoke to me, and it said, everything that you need, you already have. Everything that you need, you already have. And at the time, I was just kind of like, like what? Like, is that materialistic things? Like, I was just, I understood it, but I didn't really like dig into it and chime in on it. So anyway, I'm sorry. I had to go check on my baby, but so I began to manifest some things, and so I've been really wavering in my spirit. Like, I've been really going back and forth thinking about, what is it that I really want, and then, asking God, what is it that you have for me? Because I felt so much pressure to be an educator, and this has been for a long time, like my whole life. I felt so much pressure to be an educator. I'm like, I feel like that's a gift. I'm naturally good with children. I want to be around kids. I want to be able to influence them, be a role model, impact them. It was way beyond teaching. Like, I don't care if you learn the Pythagorean theorem. I don't care about that. Real talk though, who cares? Teachers, don't come for me. I'm just saying. These kids need to know how to balance textbooks. They need to know about credit. That's another story. But I knew that I could be of use in the education system as far as a mentor, a second mom, a big sister on that level. It was so more than just, education. And so I've always felt that pressure. I felt that pressure. Then I started a mentor program at 20. I started a mentor program. And it was so many ways, because sometimes you have to really be in tune and decipher what's what, because some things can look just alike. That's why you gotta have a relationship. So, bringing me back to this morning. I'm gonna try to be 3 minutes and out, because I know I'm way past. I'm at 15 minutes now. Today is July 9th. And so I decided a month ago, I went on a fast. No, that was in May. I went on a fast. I'm looking at my mirror because I got sticky notes all in my mirror. And so just different inspiring words and manifestations. But I went on a water fast, and on the third day, the Spirit of God spoke to me, and He simply said, "Daughter, speak." And so that happened on May the 2nd, and my response was yes and amen. That's what my sticky note says. And so I went on this quest, and I went on a water-only fast for 6 or 7 days. I honestly don't remember. On 6 days, and then the 7th day I finally ate, I believe. 6 or 7 days I went on a full water fast, nothing else but water. And it was a very intriguing and enlightening type of experience. But I was looking for something like so deep, y'all. Like I thought, like, I don't know what was gonna happen, but I was looking for something, and He simply said, "Daughter, speak." So I'm like, okay. That kind of confirmed my stress of me, wanting to be a teacher, a mentor, and an educator. He simply said, "Speak." Like, I gave you a gift, and your light is gonna shine, for your tribe, for your people, for those that I've set out that, that look up to you or that you will inspire. And it's for those people and those people alone. It's not going to resonate with everybody. You are not for everybody. And it's simple as that. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, bam, I know that, like, what's next? And so that's one of those things that, I had to, begin to walk in. That I was already walking in, but I had to walk into it with firmness. Like, you are not for everybody. You're not for everybody. And I need to tell y'all that too. Like, you are not for everybody. I need to ponytail. Hold on. It's so hot in here because I got this beauty light on. But you are not for everybody. You're not. And that's okay. And that's the way it should be. Like, you're not in competition with other people. Like, just be the best you. Like, grow from you. You know what I mean? I'm sorry if I'm getting sidetracked, but this morning I finally made the decision to say it out loud. So it's something that I was saying within myself, something that I share with my husband, but that's as far as it went. And I didn't take the leap of faith to put something out in the atmosphere to total strangers and speak something into existence. And so I said a month ago, in June, so it was June 9th, after the daughter speaks. So it was June 9th, I said, by August, I want to be back doing hair. I want to get like back into doing hair because there's so much more I want to do. So I'm all the way into my skincare devoted. So I want to get back into hair, boom. And then, you know, pick up this nail technique, boom. Because I want to be hair, skin, and nail queen. Like, boom. Like, that's what I want to do. So because when I'm in business, I want to be able to, you know, help those people who are working with me. I want to be able to teach them new techniques. If somebody mess up on something, I should be, you know, being a boss is not being boss. And me being a boss in the industry for me is me being able to step in and, you know, teach someone or correct something that somebody who might be newer in the industry or learning or in hair school or nail school, and I'm able to show them something, that I'm able to be a teacher in that field. So anyway, it's just, I love everything beauty, and I just want to be immersed in that industry. Like, I want to be all up in it. So hair, skin, and nails, boom. So I'm like, okay, boom. My first step is getting back to my first love, which is being in the salon. Like, I will sit in the salon all day long and have a conversation with a stylist that I don't even know, because that's just like my world of being in the salon. So I spoke it. So it had to become. So at 3 o'clock this morning, I put up this post on Facebook in this group of people that are here in Texas. And I simply said, you know, gave a brief piece of my story. And I mentioned that I felt like I went through a career depression. Like, when my house got flooded and I lost all my hair stuff, it just made me be like, whatever. Like, okay, well, God, you must didn't want me to do hair because you took my whole entire shop away the 3 days before I was moving to Texas. And so that's how I took that or whatever. But you know, another situation, you know, he told me that he will restore, like, everything that I gave up, that I surrendered, and that I think that I lost. He told me he will restore. Starting with my relationship with my boyfriend, who is now my husband. You know, a lady is happily married, and I give God all the glory for that. And that's a whole nother story. But I give God all the glory for that. But I had to leave. Being honest, I don't think that if I would have stayed, that we might have got married, because I was being, you know, stubborn, and I was just so focused. But that's what had to happen. It had to happen that way, because that's how it was designed, period, point blank. Like, that's how he had a design. He had to take me on this journey, separate me from a second from everything that I love, everybody that I love, everything that I was familiar with, my village, everything. Like, I left my car, I left my house, I lost my whole little salon. All of that happened. And so, you know, and at the time I was telling God, like, I'm surrendering everything to you. Like, I'm giving it all to you. I'm tired of fighting. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, boom, I'm all yours and I'm all ears. And so, that happened. So I spoke it in the atmosphere, like, I'm getting back in the salon. And I'm telling y'all, when I made this post, it's not even at 4 o'clock this morning. So I made this post at 3 o'clock this morning. At 4 o'clock, I was getting people asking about my services. Like, over 25 people. It hasn't even been up for 12 hours. Over 25 people have asked me, you know, about my services. And people are booking appointments. I have booked appointments.
Everything you know is in your mind.
I got booked appointments. Like, you gotta believe it. You can't doubt it. Ouch. You can't doubt it. What they say, if you're gonna don't pray and worry. If you're gonna pray, don't worry. And if you're gonna worry, then why waste your time praying? It's like, you have to believe it fully. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what I just got spun on. But you gotta believe it. And you gotta believe it fully. And then once you believe it within you, you have to follow that up with action. Faith without works is dead. So I can't just say I want to get back in the shop. I want to get back in the shop. I want to get back in the shop. I can't just say I want to get back to doing hair. I want to build my clientele. When I say that, I have to do something. So what I did yesterday is I went out and I invested in, the materials that I needed to start back in the salon, and quality brushes and quality combs, and a quality dryer, quality irons, quality products. Like, you have to do that. Got shears, all of that, everything that I needed, like the basics to get me started, get me going, I went out and purchased yesterday. All goes with the manifestations. I can't see, if I didn't go to the store and buy those things yesterday, I don't see that I would have made this post at 3 o'clock this morning when I was up just thinking about, my goals and my dreams and what I desire. Like, it wouldn't happen. Thoughts become things, and you gotta get that in you and believe it. And just multiple times put it on paper. I have a manifesting journal. I have different goals that I have on my mirror. I've always been a sticky note queen for years, since I was little. But you gotta manifest it. And on top of that, that's just working on it. You can't just write something down in your journal and think like, dang, it ain't come true. It's not magic. It's not magic. It's not like, ain't that happen. Sis was lying. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, thoughts become things. So what you say, you follow up with action and do. And I'm telling you, the universe gonna take care of the rest. The universe gonna take care of the rest. Period. I didn't put anything up about pricing. I didn't say I'm a certain type of stylist. And the funny part is, almost 99% of the people who commented, they all said, I've been looking for a natural hairstylist. I've been looking for a natural hairstylist. I've been looking for a stylist from Chicago. I've been looking for a natural hairstylist. Y'all, I didn't say one thing at all on this post about me being a natural hairstylist. Although that I am, and I love natural hair, but they looked at me as the model. And you gotta think about that too. What does your life say about you without saying a word? What is your walking brand? What kind of energy do you bring into a room without you having to say anything about yourself? Think about that, y'all. Think about that. Even, if you're a parent, what does your parenting style say about you when you out with your kids? There's a vibe, there's an energy in everything. So I just want to share that with y'all. My books are officially open in Dallas, taking clients. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. I'm overjoyed. I'm just happy. I'm happy to be back doing what I love to do. I'm happy to be back inspiring women, making them feel good about themselves. I'm happy to be having making a schedule and being able to have time with my family, flexibility, freeing my finances, all of that. You have total control. You have total control. So I'm sorry for keeping y'all 15 minutes over. I hope it was worth it. Let me know if you have any comments. Please share with me. If you understand and this video resonated with you, please let me know. I would love to hear from you. I would love to connect with you and talk to you. And yeah, that's it, y'all. And if this winds up being on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. Oh God.